Okay, today we will be talking about Chapter 1, Introduction to Tourism and IT. First, let us try to define what is information technology. Well, information technology is the application of computers and telecommunications equipment to store, retrieve, transmit, and manipulate data. So, this is actually the application of science with the use of information so that data can be manipulated and can be transmitted in so many digital ways. The second term that we need to understand here is information systems. When we speak of information systems, it pertains to the combination of hardware, software, and telecommunication networks that people build and use to collect, create, and distribute useful data, typically in organizational settings. So that's the basic definition. Well, tourism industry has so many thrives on information technology because of the size alone suggests that it generates large volumes of information to be processed and communicated. So let's try to acquaint ourselves and intensify our understanding on certain characteristics of tourism that has something to do with our study of information technology. Well, tourism is a type of service. So you cannot just avail of this when it is not properly condoned or paid. Because sometimes the tourism product is also referred to as an experience. So it is just a product or service, but it is actually an authentic service. So the first characteristic of tourism is heterogeneity. Heterogeneity is this pertains to the products and services cannot be standardized and vary enormously. So, for instance, a typical trip is complex and consists of many components or parts. So it involves public sector such as the public transportation, the agencies that you need to contact so that you can be permitted to travel, and then some of the private sectors and organizations such as the people who own and run the hotel so that you can manage to settle once you are in a certain place, especially if this place is unknown to you. The next one here, after heterogeneity, is intangibility. Intangibility actually is the services that cannot be experienced. So it's something that is not counted, that cannot be touched or felt or sampled or before purchased. So there's a need detailed information about the destination or experience to substitute for the lack of tangibility. Well, this may come out as a research through blogs and websites and so on. But people can post information through these digital platforms. After intangibility, we have the characteristic as perishability. This comes with unsold hotel rooms, aircraft seats, and tours that cannot be stored for later sale. These are also products and services that are due to time insensitive. In the information age, IT can assist with monitoring inventories and dynamically adjusting prices to maximize load factors, occupancy, and attendance rates. So, example of this is the last minute deals and promotions and reservations in hotels. The next one is inseparability. Inseparability comes with the production that occurs alongside consumption. So there is a mass production of products and services because there is a growing demand to consume. Well, the product or service is being consumed as it is delivered. And then there is an interaction between service providers and travelers because the production of the experience would happen simultaneously. And then the last characteristic is global. The global aspect of tourism includes the international movement on a mass scale. So we should not only focus on the local setup, but more on outside the local era or the local area. And international travel, it generates large volumes of information. Well, that are not just found in domestic industries, such as visa, passport regulations, custom regulations, arrival or departure of taxes, currency controls. Well, this comes with stock markets and then the health regulations, especially if there is a global emergency health crisis that we are experiencing at the moment. So these are the characteristics of tourism. What about the applications of IT to tourism? So how do we apply information technology in the tourism industry? Well, IT is influencing the way travel organizations in all sectors would communicate with customers, in the way they compete, in the way they plan their strategies, they add their value to their products, cost and save, and then streamline their operations. There are different sectors of tourism industry that have adopted information technology at different rates. So let's go over them one by one. The first one here is the aviation sector. Well, in the 1950s, there was the implementation of computer reservation systems. We call this the GDS. So it happened here, the global distribution systems, wherein there is a computer reservation system, especially for military officials who would like to use aircrafts. And then integrate all types of travel reservations. It is also used as the main tool of travel of intermediaries when there are booking of trips. And then IT has facilitated all these development of frequent flyer programs that require sophisticated database technology and very large amounts of data so that they can just regulate and manage properly without any delay the aviation programs of a certain company. And then also the self check-in terminals to reduce labor costs and speed passengers through airports. So through the e monitoring of passports and other services in aviation sectors, well, this has come as a big help to the speeding up of the management system of the aviation sector. And also automated call centers to further reduce labor costs. And then the use of internet to book flights. And then IT would allow travelers to use pro applications on smartphones for boarding passes. So we have different applications available today in the market, in the digital market, so that people would no longer have face-to-face transaction with aviation companies or airline companies when they would like to travel. And then to update on flight status if it is canceled or still to be pursued or to be done in a certain schedule, and the other functions to reduce the production of paper. Next is the travel intermediaries. Well, travel agents and tour operations are also being used for in the IT era. Significantly, it is affected by technology because they have to adapt to the disintermediation caused by the internet, giving consumers cost or access to the same information, and more is demanded from these people. Next is the hospitality sector. This is where the HRM people would really give their best services. Hotel operations are run by property management systems. This is to process all activity relative to guests, rooms, accounting, housekeeping, and customer records. And also to come up with the hotel reservation system. Also, with the advent of electronic locking systems, digital room keys, guest room automation, voice command technology, energy management systems, and self check in terminals. Then for the other sectors, IT also helped small and medium enterprises, or we call them SMEs, which constitutes a large portion of this part of the travel industry worldwide. Then for the tourism destinations, this is your fourth, my dear students, incorporating IT into the marketing and management strategies. That is to speed up the operation and then to links different sectors of the destination together. That is to connect with travelers through the internet, social media, and mobile technologies. We already have the global positioning system or GPS for those people who want to have an interactive map on a certain destination for an unknown place. And then we also have the geographic information system. If you want to travel in advance, just look for Google Map. And this is one type of geographic information system available online. And so, my dear students, if you're going to look at the influence of IT, it has a vast influence already. And at the same time, IT has influenced how people should manipulate the market and at the same time to speed up its productivity. For travelers, IT would also develop social media and mobile technology that provides ubiquitous access, meaning an open access to information about destination travel organizations and experiences, such as the travel promos and programs by travel agencies that we have right now. Okay, so all these are all applications of IT in the tourism industry. Okay, for the typologies of information, well, information is recognized as the fourth resources alongside of land, labor, and capital. We call that the LLC. It differs in numerous ways from other three sources. So let's try to acquaint them one by one. Well, information is not used up or depleted as it is consumed because it expands as it is used. For instance, one traveler would share experience and information about his favorite hotels and it can be spread widely. So when you influence people, when you talk about your experience, people would also be inspired and they are motivated to experience your travel journey at the same time. And then the spreading of subjective information can create positive or negative impacts depending on the perception of the information giver. So the information giver plays a vital role in the dissemination of information. The second one is that it can be used as substitute for the other resources. When other three resources are in short supply or are expensive, the creative applications of IT can be used to create value for organizations and consumers. Such as for telecommunicating, that is the land base. Then for labor, it can reduce employees for lower level task. The third source is its tendency to leak. Well, because of the open access of information to internet, it can cause security problems and require policies and systems to prevent security and privacy breaches. That is to say, you have to upgrade and standardize your security system, especially when it comes to information access. Because information is highly priced resource and so must be taken care to ensure its security. because any leaked information can lead to a disaster. Now, what are those sectors and factors that need to be given much attention? Well, the actors and information needs. The information is produced only by different actors to meet the needs of a wide range of audiences. So, who are these audiences? We have the travelers, as the information about destinations and transportation, activities, facilities, availabilities, prices, and border controls, and the geography and the climate. Okay, so these are all information given to the travelers. For the intermediaries, information about consumer trends, what is in the market, what is being sold in the market, about their destination transport, where is it headed, the activities of the sellers, the facilities and suppliers, and all the competitors that surround the product. And then for the suppliers, the information about the company is also needed. The consumer behavior, intermediaries, and the competitors at the same time. The last one is the destination, the information about the trends in the industry, the size and the nature of tourism flows. Who are these people who are flocking to an area? What is the reason behind the large amount of money being taken up in a certain tourist destination spot? The policies and the planning and the development programs of that tourism area. So all these are also one of the most important aspect and under the actors and information needs. The next one is the static or dynamic kind of information. Information can be used, produced, or shared by travelers prior to, during, or after the trip. Okay? And the information can also be produced by the private sector or the public sector or by the travelers themselves. So, an information can only be static if it does not change very frequently, if it seldom changes. It lends itself to distribution and access using brochures, signs, guidebooks, print media, television, and other offline media. Well, this can come up with product descriptions, transportation routes, signage, and location information. An information can be dynamic if there is a large volume of tourism information, requires digital format for frequent updates and rapid transmission. It also changes daily, weekly, and monthly and seasonally. So there's a rapid change of the information. Then it is usually done online, real-time systems with the ability to capture changes, such as the stock market. That is a dynamic information. Because all the products are available, the schedules, the fares, the rates, travel reviews, weather conditions, whether it has snowfalls on ski slopes or surf condition if you are planning to have a beach party, so to speak. Okay? So that is for the static or the dynamic type of information. For the trip stages, well, we have this type of, we call this the cabin tourism texts that under the typologies of information. The pre-trip stage, this can come under the static information. Well, we have the brochures, guidebooks, facts, photos, videos, some information on websites. Whereas if it is posted via email, websites, talk over the phone, social media, through the use of social media, internet booking engines, global distribution systems, it becomes dynamic, it becomes alive. During the in-trip stage, well, the same type, the same components. If you have the brochures, guidebooks, signs, maps, kayaks, TV channels in hotels, and some mobile applications that you have, it becomes static. But if you have your own phone, fax, you use email, website, social media, and mobile applications with internet connection, that becomes a dynamic form of information. After the trip, if you still have your brochures, guidebooks, photos, and videos for review, it is still under the static type of information. And the dynamic one is the blogs. If you Post all your travel journeys, travel experiences through blogs, social networks, media sharing, and reviews. That can be a dynamic form of information. Okay? So who are these providers of information? Well, amongst these are, one is the private sector. The private sector organizations are more specific to a given product or brand. They give general information on the destination because some of the customers are very particular with the general information so that they can at least the same time review the tour operators, the hotel concierge, and then the desks. Okay. For the public sector organizations, well, to provide specific product information if it is under the public area. Because the public tourism office, well, they distribute information on specific attractions and accommodations to help also the tourism industry of that area. That is also to provide more objective, unbiased information on both the public and the private tourist facilities. Because whether we like it or not, whether you are in the private sector, the public sector organization would always establish partnership. And then the World Wide Web, the internet itself. The travel content as created by public or private organizations. It becomes Web 1.0 if the provided limited if the area provides limited interaction. The websites were updated by webmasters, and then users could view the content but could not contribute to it. Okay, just like in media, in Facebook. It becomes Web 2.0 if the user generated content or UGC is being used. It is also characterized by the rapid expansion of information produced by third parties, such as the consumers, because they are the producers of tourism experiences. And without the consumers, tourism would be dead. Okay? And then development of wikis, blogs, social media, social networking sites, and then the really sample indication or RSS media sharing sites such as Instagram, that is a very good media sharing site, and then the virtual worlds for the 3D. If you want to look at the 3D or three-dimensional lookout of that area or tourist destination. Okay? So actually, these are the providers of information under the typologies of information that has come with tourism as an intensive industry. So that would be all. If you have further questions with our discussion, just feel free to ask. Just remember that IT and tourism are two inseparable souls that we should embrace so that our love for the tourism industry can be fruitful and meaningful. Thank you very much, and I hope this video instructional material will help you understand our lesson. Toodles!